Yes, welcome again. Uh, my name, as usually, I used to say, I'm Councillor Daniel Mora Juguna in Arbe, Stockholm, Sweden, representing the big municipality of Botkyrka here in Stockholm, Sweden. Today, I want us to focus on the issues of political ideology in Kenya. As most of us who are politically conscious, I think personally, it's high time we start talking about ideological politics. Because in the Kenya we have today, it's about individuals. Who is leading, who got more money. The governments and the government that follows have been about individual parties. You find this party is for Raila Odinga, this party is for Uhuru Kenyatta, this party is for Rigathi Gachagua, and so small other small parties of a guy that I'm going to describe here later. The guy is Mwangi Jody also is also an owner of a political party. Moses Kuria also is an owner of a political party, and he has left his own party. That is why Kenyan politics is so funny. Somebody leaves his own party and he goes to another party because you want to eat with those who are in the government. That's the crux of the matter in this way of analyzing political situations in Kenya. I would advise those people to read this book. I read it in university. It is called Theory and Methods of Political Science. And to the Kenyan community and the Kenyan followers of these political parties, of individuals in a way, to know what they are doing, I would advise them to read this book. It's called Ways of Knowing. Ways of Knowing. The title is typically clear. Because we have been cheated and we are going to be cheated. Because Kenya has turned to individual business-oriented political parties. These parties are to do business because they're out of money. When you get some MPs, if I get mine, I call it Kahigaine. I call Kahigaine. Okay, Kahigaine political party for Councillor Daniel Mora Juguna. I get some 20 MCAs, 20 MPs, and maybe a governor. My life is settled as Mora Juguna. Because there is a lot of money for political parties. But what does this political party stand for? As a student of political science, I usually try to read the manifestos of these political parties in Kenya. And all of them, they belong to my Social Democratic Party of Sweden, Social Democraterna. But their way of doing their business, sorry to say, they are capitalists. They are more moderated than the Moderaternas party in Sweden. They are tribal oriented. And that is why parties come. We don't have these parties, especially when it comes to the presidency. In fact, I don't think Ruto is going to start with the UDA this next year. He's going to change parties or form a coalition with and do campaigns on that party. Once upon a time, I represented a party called Na Kenya here in Stockholm. And I was informed by Her Excellency Beth Mugo, the cousin of Uhuru, the former president Uhuru Kenyatta. They were in this house of mine here. That was the year 2006. And it was rotational. By then, it was Cherimo, Sheraite, Honorable Sheraite of Rogai then, who was the chair, really, of that political party. In fact, I usually get letters from the Swedish authority here of Kenya. Then came PNU. We were swallowed by the event of those days. And I found myself from being the NAC chair of Scandinavia, because of these figures, how they change in Kenya, I found myself to be the chairman or the representative of PNU Scandinavia. The story doesn't end there. Then came Kibaki Rood and by the way, I was in those meetings there because they invited me to Kenya as a NEC member. And I attended so many NEC members. Honorable Kariuki Muiruri, my then MP in Gatodo North, was very worried because he thought that I was coming to stand for elections there. And he was being stopped by the then famous MP Peter Kenneth of Gatanga. I remember when we were having those breakfast meetings in Kenya headquarters. It didn't last. Immediately I came back to Sweden. Kibaki was with the PNU, and that was the party that won elections. Won elections. We don't know whether we won, but Kibaki was sworn in as the president, as a PNU candidate, Party of National Unity, now headed by another guy from Meru. So I want to enlighten the Kenyan people that these parties come and go. Now we have almost, in fact, Kenya has more parties, I think more parties than here in Sweden. So my question is, which ideology, and this ideological way of thinking doesn't add up, because Raila, I may hate Raila, or I may dislike Raila. No, hate is a bit bad verb, but he was consistent in his way of political thinking, though also he was swallowed by the system because of the way the politics in Kenya are done. And I think it's high time we change. We change completely. We have political parties here. We have Social Democrat now. We know that is ideological. We have Moderator now, it's ideological. We have the Left Party, the Venstre Party yet, we know it's ideological. We have the Labour Party, not the Labour Party, the Labour Party is Social Democrat now. We have the Rebels. We have the Christian Party. We know what they stand for on certain issues, and their core issues we know. In Kenya, sorry to say, the ideology of the party is the region that person comes from. Well, it may be good in a way or it may be bad in a way, because there is pros and cons in every situation. And as a political science student, we were told here in Stockholm University that there's something called critical analysis. But the critical analysis we do in our system in Kenya is one. It is individual, it is money-minded, it's about money, and who is going to steer in the next government. I rest my case today. I'm Councillor Daniel Mora Jugona, reporting from Arbe, my private residence, Stockholm, Sweden. Good night.